So tonight, we want to check out how to deal with arrays, list of items in ReactJS. I think we started it last week, but today we are starting again from the scratch, how to deal with arrays in ReactJS. We did something similar to or something on this last week. So let's go. Let's say you have a list of items like this. Let's say you have names, or let's just call it names. I have 8, 9, 12. I have this array. I want to display all these numbers. I want to do something like this. I want to say I have 8, let's say 8, let's say fonts. I have 9 fonts. Then I have 12 fonts. I want to have a result that looks like this. So what I can do is this. I can say I have nums. Whenever I told you when you have curly braces like this, that means you want to write JavaScript. So you can write simple JavaScript expression here. So I can say I have nums index 0 fonts. This is going to be 8. Since num is this array, so index 0 will be 8. Then, sorry, I want to quickly admit some. Okay, nums index 0, that would be 8. Then this will be nums index 1. I'll copy this. Oops, index 1. Fonts, then this will be nums index 2. Like this. This will give us the results we want. I have 8 fonts. Let's break it to another line. Let's put this inside a div. I just copy. So we have this result, but there's a little problem we have. The problem is that this array is a static array, but imagine it's a dynamic array, whereby the length of this array can increase and it can decrease. That is, more items can be added to this array, or it's also possible for us to remove 1 or 2 items from this array. This is going to create a problem for us. Because if a new item is added to this array, let's say 20, if I want to display this 20, then it means I need to come here and write it. I have nums index 3 fonts. And that will not be cool enough. In fact, imagine this array changes frequently. So when you come to your code and start doing that, of course, you can't do that. You won't be able to do that. So what we want to do now is we want to write codes such that it's going to adjust itself based on the length of this array. If more items are added to this array, this part will be adjusted. If items are removed from this array, this part will be adjusted to that also. Do we understand? Any questions so far? I'll move forward. Okay, let's move on. So that brings us to map. We looked at map in the JS session before we started this ReactJS. So we can easily use map. To see how that works, I'll say nums dot map. So I told us that inside your map you put a higher or you put a function, a callback function there in your map. So let's put our callback function there. So here's our callback function, like this. To start with, I'll just say return this, return div. I'll just say inside this div, I'll say hi. Like this. So from what we learned in the JS session, it's going to run these codes, what you have here, based on the number of items in these knobs. Since we have 4 items here, you will see this div, this div that contains I 4 times. Who doesn't understand that part? Because there are 4 items there, it's going to run this 4 times. Let's check it on the browser. We have this. So let's say there are 5 items now. Then I need to run this 5 times. We have this. Let's proceed. Well, we are not just interested in displaying I. What we want to do is I have 8 phones, I have 9 phones, I have 12 phones, I have 20 phones, I have 50 phones. So what you're going to do is this. We will come here and say, come here, put maybe val. So based on what we learned under the map session, I told you this val represents each of the value inside each of the values in these nums. Val will first be 8, then we can now use it here. I have var phones like this. So var will first be 8. It's going to display I have 8 phones. The var will be 9. It will display I have 9 phones. Var will be 12. I have 12 phones. Var will be 20. I have 20 phones. Var will be 50. I have 50 phones. Any question? Let's proceed. Let's move on. So I also explained to us that if you are, this is a callback function. In your okay, I think someone is saying something. Okay, nobody. So in your callback, in your function in ES6, if your function is only taking one argument, you are allowed to remove this parenthesis like this, and this will still give you the same result. Now let's look at something. Let's go to the console. You will see an error there, and we'll discuss the reason for this error. Each child in a list should have a unique key prop. What does this mean? You see, this single line is the one displaying this. Now, for efficiency's sake, React wants to make it easy. This single line, since you know that this single line is the one displaying all of these 5, is it 5 lines? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 lines. The single line is the one displaying all of these 6 lines. Now, somehow React is not or cannot efficiently manage or differentiate them. I come again. React cannot, it can, but it can't do that efficiently. It can differentiate them, but it can't differentiate them efficiently, since they are all being displayed on the same line. So React expects you to give each of these things a unique attribute called key. With that key, since the key is unique to each of them, it can now efficiently use that key to manage or to differentiate them. I come again. React needs a key so that it can efficiently manage or differentiate all of them. For now, because they are being displayed on the same line, somehow in fact, in older version of React, this will not work. It's going to make it compulsory for us to add that key before we can do anything. But as React improves, they've made this possible also. So we need to add a key property. When you are using map like this and you are returning inside your map like this, you add a key property. So that key makes it possible, or makes it easy for React to differentiate each of the items you are displaying on that line. And the key must be unique. So let's add a key. Whatever item you are returning here, you add a key, a unique key attribute. So I can use this var as a key. So the first one, the key will be 8. Since key is var, the key will be 8. For the second one, the key will be 9. For the third one, the key will be 12. For the fourth one, the key will be 20. For the fifth one, the key will be 50. So the key is also this var in this case. Let's check it on the browser. Okay. You can ask your question, Sheriff Ahmed.
Okay. I want to confirm. I think the key is the purpose of the key is to make it unique, right?
Yes.
But using that var, but what if in a situation whereby we have the same value, which is the same element? Let's say the first value is 8, probably the last value is also 8. So
Yeah.
how will it differentiate that?
Okay. Thank you for the question. We are going there. We are still going there. I'm just taking this step so that you see the need for why we have to do it in another way. Do you understand?
Okay.
Thank you so much. Yes. Now we have this. In this case, the key for this one now, the key for the first one will be 8, the key for the second one will be 9, the key for the third one will be 12, the key for the next one 20, and the last one will be 50. Now this works fine, and you will see that the error will no longer be there. Let's refresh this. Now the error is no longer there. But there may be an instance whereby you have another value here that will be the same as one of these values. That is, maybe a value can occur twice. And for that reason, you will have two diffs with the same keys. No, you must use diff. Whatever you use here, just add a key attribute. So you have it with the same key, meaning the first and the last, we have the same key. Oops. So the first and the last, they will have the same key, and that error will come back. The error comes back now. Encounter two children with the same key, 8. So it is not cool that you use the var as the key. But for now, let's find an alternative. Let's find a solution to this, or a temporary solution. I'm using the word temporary because in our subsequent classes, we will use another term. But for now, let's find this temporary solution. So remember, under the map section, I told us that your map can have up to three parameters here. The first one is var. The second is the first one is the value, each of the values here. The second is what? You can tell me the second. The first argument given to it is the value. The second one is what? You can remind us. We did that under the map filter find under the HOF section in JavaScript. Okay, the second is the index. Can we remember this? Once you put a value here, the first one represents each of the value here. The second represents the index of that value. So for the first one, when var is 8, the index will be 0. When var is 9, the index will be 1. When var is 12, sorry, someone wants to join. Okay. So when var is 9, the index will be 1. When var is 12, index will be 2. When var is 20, index will be 3. When var is 50, index will be 4. And when var is 8, index will be 5. So with this now, two items will not have the same key. So let's set the key to be high instead of key to be var. We can now set the key to be this I. So this is a temporary solution for that. That's the first. Any questions so far? Okay. Let's proceed. If you are getting it, say I'm getting it. Are you not getting it? Can we hear me at all?
Yes, we can.
Are we lost? Are we not getting it?
Right on, can hear you, sir. Just right on.
Okay. Now we have this. We have this. So we can still shorten this code a bit. Now we can remove this return. Remember I told you that you can return with your arrow under the JavaScript section. You can return with this arrow. If you are returning with this arrow, you remove this return keyword. And that's what you're going to do now. That will shorten our code a bit. So I'll remove this now. Then I'll just return with this. So help us return this like this. Come up. Yeah. So we can run this now. We can run this. So let's check it out. We still have the same result. Everything works fine. Everything works fine. So let's proceed. Now we want to create an input and a button. The input and button will allow us to add items to this array. We can be able to add more numbers to this list here. So let's do that together. So we come here, we get an input, then a button, add new number, or add, let's just say add number. On click, add num. So let's create a function called add num. So click on this button, you will call on this function. Then let's get what it have inside these inputs. I think we've done something like this in our last class. Let's val set val use state. So as we type here, we want to get whatever we have inside this and set it as var. So I think I love using self-closing tag for this. This is just personal preference. And change set val p dot targets dot value. So as you type inside this place, whatever you type here becomes val. Can we remember this from our last class? 11.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Very.
Okay. So as you type here, whatever you type here becomes. Okay. So when you click on this button, we just push it into this array. We can say nums dot push, because what you have here is a number. What you have here are numbers, and this is a string. I'll just convert this to number first before pushing. Convert it to number, then var. Now let's see this and let's see what we get. If I type a number here, let's say 40, you expect it that it will be pushed here, but somehow it's not reflecting on the screen. Who can tell us the problem?
You are not using state.
Great. You are not using states. Thank you. Perfect answer. You are not using states. I told us in one of our classes that if you want this HTML part to reflect to the changes in that particular variable, that variable needs to be a state. So for that reason, we need to make this array a state. Let's do that together. So we say nums, then we say set nums like this. Then we say use state, and we have this like this. So now remember, I also told us that you can't alter a state directly except with this function, So now we need to say set nums. We want to add var as part of the values in this array. Now if you come here and say set num to val, well, in fact this will even throw back an error. But if you try to run this, what happens is anytime you click on this button, let's assume we typed 100. Let's say we typed 100 inside this input and we click on this button. When immediately it gets to this line, this val, that 100, becomes the new value of nums. So nums will no longer be an array. Now nums will be 100, and you can't map a number. Do you understand? You can't map a string also. You can't map. So that part will throw back an error. I come again. By running, if you put it like this, unless you run this and it gets to this line, val becomes the new value of nums. And you are trying to map it here, so it's not going to, that will throw back an error. Let's run that together. Refresh. Let's say I typed 80, and I click on this button, you have this error. nums is not a function. Nums.map is not a function, and that's because that is a string and you can't map a string. So we don't want this to happen. So let's put it in an array like this, so that it will always be an array like this. If you run this, we see we run into another problem. Let's look at it together. When you click on this button, you will notice that it will remove everything there and you only have this 80. What's going on? That is because this, what you now have is, let's say I typed 80 there, nums will now look like this, 80. And array that only are just one item, And that's what you're going to have on this screen. Since you now have just one item there, then you have this here. So what we want to do is we don't want this value to replace everything in this. We still want to maintain these things, these values. We still want to maintain them. We only want it to push it, more like push. We want it to push it into it. So remember the spread operator that we looked at under the JavaScript session, spread operator. So we can say nums, that is, copy everything inside nums and spread them here. After spreading them, we can now add our var. So with this now, it's going to retain everything there. We first copy everything, then spread them here. After spreading them, it will now add var at the end. Any question?
No question, sir.
Okay, let's send that on the screen. So I can have 80. I can click on this. I have this. I can add 100. Then I click on this. So this is working fine. So let's look at our delete button. Let's add a delete button so that we can delete that particular one that we click on. So here we add a button. Oops, sorry. Button delete. So this delete button will appear in the front of each of them. So if I want to delete the first one, I will click on this. If I want to delete the second one, I will click on this, third one, and like that. So, and of course, when you want to delete that particular one. If I click on this, that means I want to delete this one. So let's do that together. We create a function, we can call it delete now. First, delete num equals to this. So let's attach it here. I'll click delete num. So to be sure it's working, I'll just alert here. So when you click on this, you have this, so it's working. But you must be able to know the one we want to delete. We must be able to know. We are not just trying to remove all of them. We want to remove a particular one. So when we click on this button, this function must know the one that is calling on it among all of them. Sorry, someone wants to join. Someone wants to join. So when you click on this button, that function delete num must know the one that is calling on it among all of them. It must know. So how do we do that? We can pass this I. You know this I represents index. It represents the position. So we can pass that I to this so that when we click on it, it's going to use that to know the one calling on it. What I mean is this. So let's pass it here like this. We've seen how to pass parameterized function in the past. How to call on parameterized function. So we are passing this I. Whatever you put here, we are passing it here. That is, you are passing the index down to this place. Well, let me break it to another line so that it will be. Let's have it like this. Okay. So let's save it here. I just call it IND. I'll say alert IND. Let's check that. So when I click on the first one, you will see 0. When I click on the second one, you will see 9. Sorry, 1. Third one, 12. 2. Sorry, I'm just calling on the value. Sorry, index 2. Fourth one, 3. So with that, it's able to know the one calling on it. Do you understand what you're doing? Do you get the explanation?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So the essence
Yes,
of
sir.
okay, all right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So with this now, we are able to know the one calling on that delete function, and we can now run some code inside this function to delete that particular one. So we just say delete whatever is at that index. To do that, I'll do something here. I'll say nums dot, let me create a variable. I'll just say results equals to nums dot filter over return var, okay, so var and my index. I just do this first so that you get what we are doing. My index is equal to rnd. Now let's see what happens here. Let's see. Going back to the HOF section of our JavaScript, the map, filter, find. I explained to us that the way filter works is that for each of the value here, it will always call on this function. Let's say, let me comment out these parts and let's quickly recap, have a refresh of JavaScript. If I have an array like this, let's say Peter, James, and John, dot filter, so I'm filtering the array. I can say, var represents each of the value here. Var will first be Peter, then var will be James, then var will be John. So if I say return that one where var is equal to Peter, it will return a result where it will return a result of an array that only has Peter inside it, right? All right. Are we getting it? Can we still remember this part in filter? Whichever one whereby this condition, whenever this condition is true, it will return that value. If this condition is false, it will discard that value. And this is the only one that has this condition as true. For that reason, when we go to our console, you will have a new array, but that array will only have Peter inside it. Let's check that out. Click on anyone, you only have Peter. Now, if I negate this will create a new array, and that new array will only have James and John. Because for Peter, this condition will be false. For James and John, this condition will be true. Var is not equal to Peter. So let's click. We have this. So for James and John, that condition will be true. Next is, let's say we now have index. Like this. Hi. Like this. And let's say I have my index equals to, let's just start with 0. When we click on any of them, my index will be 0. Then we can say, help us to check this condition, whereby my index is the same as hi. Let's do this. My index is 0. For Peter, when var is Peter, I will be 0. Right? It's going to check this condition. What is my index? My index is 0. What is I? For Peter, I will be 0. So it's going to check this condition. Is this condition true? Yes, that is true for Peter. It will return that value. It will push it inside this. Now for James, var will be James and I will be 1. My index is 0. Note this. This is 0. My index is 0. Is it equals to I? I is 1. Remember, for James, I is 1. Is 0 equals 1? This condition is false. It will discard that. For John, I will be 2. But my index is still 0. So is this condition true? No. 0 is not equals to 2. It will discard that one. So only Peter will be returned here. Let's refresh this, and only Peter is returned. Now, if you now negate this, my index is 0. Now, for Peter, it's going to do this for each of the values here. For Peter, var will be Peter and I will be 0. My index is 0. and I is also 0, is this condition true? No. The condition says 0 is not equal to 0. So, and for Peter, that is false. It will discard that one. Let's go to the next one. For James, var is James and I is 1. It will return this. My index is 0 and I is 1. 0 is not equals to 1. Of course, that's true. That one is true. So it will return James. It will push that inside this place. For John, var is John, I is 2. My index, which is 0, is not equal to I, which is 2. Yes, 0 is not equal to 2. So it will push that particular one. So you see James and John inside this. If you don't understand what I just explained, let me please kindly signify. Okay, let's proceed. So instead of passing this my index or setting it as 0 like this, we can just get it here from this place. And now let's remove all of this and bring back this. So what you are doing here is that when you click on N1, it's going to pass the I as INB, then it will call on this function. So what it's going to do is that our var will be the first value in nums. My index here will first be 0 for the first value. It will now check if my index, if it's the same as that particular one that you clicked on. If they are the same, then if the index is the same as the index of the one you click on, then it will return it. But if they are different, of course this condition will be false, then it will discard it. That's what we are doing here. So now this is going to give us opposite of what we want. I'll just say console log results. Console log results. So let's check it out. If I click on the first one, you only see 8. If I click on the second one, you only see 9. Good. So, but instead of saying that we want to remove that particular one, not to just show us, we want to remove it. So we are going to negate it. Not. So it's going to return every other one except that particular one that has that index. Okay. So click, you see 8 has been removed. If I click on this, you see 50 has been removed. If I click on this, the last 8 will be removed. So we want to remove that particular one. After removing it, we want to set it back as the new value. Because if you observe something, let me click on this 9. 9 has been removed like this. But for the next one, you will see the 9 will be back. The 9 is back, but 20 has been removed. If I click on this 50, the 20 will be back, then 50 will no longer be there. So you don't want this. Once it has been removed, you want it to be removed forever. So after it has been removed, now set it as the new value of nums. So we say set nums to result. So after it has been removed now, the new value of nums will now be that array that contains every other item except the removed value. So see what happens now. We can delete. Oh, we are deleting it. Everything is okay. Fine. Any questions so far?
No question for us.
Okay. Let's proceed. Now, after removing all the values, if there is maybe when there's nothing on the screen, okay, when there's nothing on the screen, I don't want it to be empty like this. I want it to be maybe no value yet, or no value yet. So let's say that we can now say if there is nothing inside, if the length of this array is 0, the length of this array, if it's 0, then just display no value yet. So we can easily use our ternary operator. If there's nothing inside the array, then display no value yet. Once there is something, display this map. So it will only display this map when there is something. So we can use ternary operator and say when nums.length, if it's equals to 0, or if it's greater than 0, do this. When the length is greater than 0, run all of this, do all of this. Else, using ternary operator, you can just display this div no value yet. So if the length of the array is greater than 0, 1 and above, it will do this, else no value yet. Let's first see that before we improve this a bit. Okay, so if I delete everything, no value yet. Once I add a new number, the number is that has been pushed there. Well, we can reduce. I will not necessarily say improve, but we can reduce the code. We can say if nums like this. And why are we doing this? That brings us to tutti and forcing in JavaScript. Tutti and forcing. If I'm coming, if nums dot length, that brings us to tutti and forcing. In JavaScript, everything in JavaScript is seen as either true or false. Everything whatsoever. It's seen as either true or false. If I say Taye is seen as either true or false. If I say null is seen as either true or false. Now, some things are considered as true. Some other things are considered as false. You can check out my JavaScript textbook. Yes, you can check that part to understand this part better. But some things are considered true and some are considered false. Now, you don't need to cram all of those things that are considered true, just like English alphabet. You don't need to cram all your consonants. All you need to do is to know your vowels. Once you know your vowels, anything outside the vowels will be consonant. Same here too. All 6 things are false. 6 things are false. Anything else outside these 6 is considered as true. We call that tutti. I come again. 6 things are false. Anything outside these 6 is known as true. So the false are false, 0, null, undefined, empty string, and NAM, like this. Okay, these 6 things, they are known as false. They are automatically seen as false. Anything outside these 6 will be seen as true. So when you say num.length, if it is 0, 0 is false. 0 is false, that will give you this. But if it is 1, 1 is 30, that will give you this. It's going to do this. I come again. When it's just like saying, I suppose 0 here, 0 is false. JavaScript sees 0 as false. And for that reason, it will run this code. If you put 10 here, 10 is 30, it will do this. So when you say nums.length like this, so whenever the length is 0, then that means it will run. It's just a way of shortening the code. Instead of saying it's greater than 0, instead of doing this, you can just shorten it to this. Okay, so let me remove these lines that I wrote. Still have the same result. So no value yet. Now assignments. But let me ask for the last time before going, do you have any question on what I just explained? Is there any part you don't understand? Okay, if there is none, here's my assignment for you. Instead of 1 input, I want you to give me 3 inputs. So, okay, someone is saying that. Okay, Reginald, you can ask your question. I'm with you. You can ask your question. Okay, I don't think Reginald can hear us. Okay, Kingsley, you can ask your question.
Okay, my question is the index.
Okay.
Yeah, when you are discussing the arguments, the index, I want to know the actual functions of that index. That in index you are talking of. I want to know the main function used.
The main function of index.
Yes, yes.
Index is meant to signify the position of an element in an array. So if you have an
Okay.
array, this 8, the index is 0. This 9, the index is 1. This 12, the index is 2. So index is the position of an item in an array. Do you get it now? So,
Okay, it's clear now.
okay.
Thank you.
You're
It's
welcome.
clear. Thank you.
Okay, any other question? Okay, now my assignment is this.
Mr. Tai.
Yes, I'm with you.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
I want to seek your opinion. Maybe, please, can you reveal your code editor, please, so that I can.
Okay.
Okay. While you were calling the function on line 22, I discovered you were passing a callback function
Okay.
to the onClick handler, and you were running that, and also you've declared the function on line 9. So, in your opinion, I don't you think this will cause performance issues, or what are the best practices since the function has declared line 29? Is it not great to just input the name of the function rather than passing a callback function to recall the function? Can you speak on that? And since we are not passing, we are not dealing with state here. I mean, passing the function as a state component here. I don't know if you may want to speak on that,
Okay.
because I bit I need more clarification on that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now, I think it was in our last two classes, I explained to us that whenever you want to call on parameterized function in ReactJS, you put a callback function. You put a function that returns a new function. This is a function that is returning this delete now. If we call on this like this, we want to pass this. The reason we are using the arrow function is because of this I. We could have, if we are not passing any arguments to this, we could have just done it like this and it would be fine. But because we want to pass this I to this, so you put an arrow function that returns a new function. So what the function you are returning is the listener. So you can point it out. Okay.
Oh, thank you, sir. I think I get it now. Thank you.
Okay. Any other question? Okay. Now here is my assignment. Okay. So instead of using this, instead I will use a table, or you will use a table. A user will come, type name, department, let's say computer science, CSC, school, let's say UI, and you click on this button. When you click on this button, it will insert it in a table. Like it's going to insert it as a row in a table. So the table we have a column for serial number, a column for name, a column for department, a column for school. Okay, I think Google Meet is already warning us. We are rounding off already. So there will be a table, serial number, name, department, school. So when I click on this, it will take this name, it will insert it in the row column. This department in the department column, this UI in the school column. Then I can come here and type another person. Let's say Kenny BCH. I'll take Then I click on this. When I click on this, it will take this kernel and create another row still in the same table. What I mean is this. It will create a table that looks like this. I want to put it somewhere here. A table. Let me just set the border to be 1. To add 2 I 2 H. So name 2 H department 2 H. Script. Let's come back to the T body. T body. T high. T D. Tire. T D. T D. Copy. If I enter another person's information, let's say I enter Kenny, BCH, and Lautek, and I click on this button, immediately I click on the button, it will create another row for me again. It will put it here like this. Kenny, BCH, Lautek. So, I think, serial number. 2D 1 2D 2. Okay, so it gets another. If I enter another information here, let's say Idowu, let's say software, school, let's say SQL. You click on this button to get another row again for you. It's not that you come to your code to write this. I'm just using this to explain. You are going to do this dynamically. The software SQL like this. So it will create a new one for you. So each time you type a name, department, you can click on the button to create a new row and insert it under it. Then lastly, let's add a delete button, just like we did in the past two. I just say delete. Then copy. Okay. To the button. Delete. So I'll copy this, paste in others. So each of them we have a delete button. Each of them. So when you click on this delete button, it will remove that particular one. If you click on this, it will remove that particular one. If you click on this, it will remove that particular one. Oh, sorry. Okay, so when I click on this, it will remove that particular one. When I click on this, it will remove that particular one. When I click on this, it will remove that particular one. Any question? Question. Okay. In absence of question, we call it a day at this point. Thanks for coming. Have a lovely night tests.